She just called me Lowell.
Hi, this is Rod Firoozye. I'm a fellow of the AAML in Northern California. I'm here today with Lowell Sucherman, who is also a fellow of the AAML. We're here for the History Project, and we wanted to have an interview and find out what Lowell has done since he began practicing law, primarily family law, and how things may have changed since then. So Lowell, very nice to have you today with us. Could you kind of briefly tell us, first of all, you've been practicing now for quite a bit, huh?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay. So we had spoken earlier, and you had told me that you previously were doing other areas of law and family, other than family law. And at some point, one of the partners in your firm asked you to get involved on a case that was down in Monterey. I had a chance to take a look at that case. It was the marriage of Fenton, Fenton, and it was definitely a very, very interesting case. If you want to tell our audience here a little bit about what happened with that case, and if you don't mind.
Yeah, just a little background of my experience. I started practice of law in general practice and did almost everything with the law. Tried personal injury cases, medical malpractice cases, corporate tort cases. And over the years, I had the opportunity to try approximately 100 jury cases. One day, my senior partner of my firm had a woman come in who couldn't get a lawyer in Monterey County because her husband, Lou Fenton, was very influential in that county, and all the judges kind of owed him a little bit of a respect, and maybe even got their jobs with his recommendations. So I took on the case, even though I hadn't ever tried a family law matter, and went down to Monterey and filed a motion to eliminate the court, the judiciary in Monterey County, on the grounds that a judge from out of county should take over. They denied my request, and I had to proceed to trial. And the trial judge was the former law partner who was representing Mr. Fenton. We kind of expected, under those circumstances, we weren't going to be getting a fair treatment. And it turned out exactly how I suspected. One thing that did happen, which was very unusual, is I was in preparation. I had my expert CPA in the courtroom, and we were going over the testimony to try to come up with some testimony concerning the value of the goodwill value of Mr. Fenton's practice. Their claim was it was a corporation, and therefore there was no goodwill. And as we were going over our stuff, and court convened at 1:30, at 1 o'clock, the door opened. In walked the judge, the lawyer representing Mr. Fenton, and Mr. Fenton, and they were all wearing golf shoes. I put this on the record, and much to the chagrin of the judge, and they proceeded with what I expected to happen and refused to give me any goodwill, zero goodwill. Of course, we went on appeal, and as you mentioned, that case is the marriage of Fenton, and under that case, it was reversed on many grounds. And when we went back, we were able to get a judge from out of county, and we eventually got a substantially good settlement result. And from that, I got a lot of very, very probably an enormous amount of referrals from all over the country, and actually from some from England and France. Somehow that was so publicized. And I decided that I really liked this new facet of law. And I then went into my own practice, and that's the way it's been for the last 40 something years. So anyway, that's how it all happened.
So when you, and I noticed that particular case that went up on the Court of Appeal, you were the appellate attorney as well, weren't you?
That's correct, yes.
So when you filed the appeal, in the back of your mind, did you think, like, if this appeal is not granted and I end up in front of the same judge, there might be even a bigger problem?
Well, I actually didn't. I actually knew the panel that we were going up to, and I knew that none of them had that problem that I was facing when I went down to the Monterey courthouse. But if I had, I think I might have been granted something in the Supreme Court, but we didn't have to go that far.
So then after that, you said you began doing more and more family law cases. At some point, did you ever have any regrets in, setting aside the other cases that you were working on, like all the other civil cases that you were working on?
Yeah, well, I guess my biggest regret was that I was no longer able to try cases in front of a jury, because I had that jury experience, and I thought that would really help if family law cases were before juries. I wasn't sure how that would work out, but I had that background, and so that was my only regret. Other than that, it's just been a great ride, and I really enjoyed my practice, and I'm still at it. So.
Great. And just, did you think that some of the skills that you had as a general litigation attorney before you started doing family law, they translated pretty well into the family law practice?
I think it was a great assist. Lots of family law lawyers have less trial experience than I had. So I was able to indicate to my opponents that I had, pretty much better trial experience. And I think that helped me settle numerous cases.
Now, I noticed after you eventually became a certified specialist in family law, you've been involved quite a bit with not just the AAML, with San Francisco Bar Association, the California Bar Association. What has been your experience like with AAML?
Well, when I first became a member of the American Academy and the local chapter, it was a much smaller group, and it was really a tremendous assistance to be able to meet every month. In those days, we meet at a very small restaurant in San Francisco, and it was really a terrific time. Now it's been expanded, and I'm sure there are tremendous accolades for the people that do it, but the individual part of being a member has kind of gone away. And I think one of the things that they're doing now is having various meetings with smaller groups, and I think it's very helpful.
Very good. And did you do the trek out to Chicago as well?
Every year since someplace in probably the late 1980s, we've gone to Chicago, except of course last year, and unfortunately, I think probably this year, because of the pandemic, when we're doing it on remotely, and it's not the same.
What did you think about your experiences as far as going to Chicago all those years?
Oh, I loved it, and it was tremendous meeting people from all over the country, and some eventually I got involved in the international group, and that was really a great experience. And since that time, I've had an opportunity to actually try some cases and be a witness in foreign jurisdictions. And I highly recommend that people get involved not only on the national basis, but in the international basis.
Well, I think that's fantastic. And as a recent fellow of the International Academy, I can't tell you, I can't wait for all the wonderful trips, I hope.
Well, we call that the tourist thing, but we've had some great meetings and unbelievable experiences. I've been all over the world with the international group. We've been to China, we've been to the South America, we've been to Africa, and into England, France, Germany. It's just been a wonderful thing, and meeting the people from all over and getting the experience and getting recommendations and referrals from all of these sources. It's an excellent thing, and you should join. And I'm happy that you are a member. I hope that you'll be in New Orleans if we have the meeting.
I actually am. I've already booked the hotel and everything, and I just hope with COVID it'll calm down enough so that we could definitely meet in person over there.
That'll be great, Ron.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Lowell. I really, really appreciate it. I'm going to stop this recording now.